Welcome to Overnight Market Brief, Pre-Market Edition by AGI Era. Good morning. Today is Saturday, December 20th, 2025, and it is shortly after 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. This is your executive summary of global market developments, analyzing the overnight flows in Asia and Europe, the key macro drivers, and the setup for the North American Open. The prior session and macro context. First, a look back at the U.S. close. Wall Street finished firmly in risk-on mode, propelled by softer inflation data that bolstered bets on a dovish Federal Reserve. The S&P 500 settled at 6835, rising 0.88%, while the Nasdaq 100 outperformed, adding 1.31% to close at 25,346. Crucially, the session was driven by disinflation hopes, but the real story overnight has been the follow-through momentum in the face of a slightly firmer macro backdrop. Right now, the 10-year Treasury yield is trading at 4.145%, up 0.58%. The U.S. dollar index is also edging higher at 98.252, while crude oil is firm, trading up 0.93%, around 56 and 52 cents a barrel. Typically, rising yields and a stronger dollar would act as a headwind for equities. However, the market is currently prioritizing the growth narrative, suggesting investors are looking past these minor fluctuations for now. Overnight session Asia and Europe. Moving to the overnight session, global markets have been tracking Wall Street's positive lead. In Asia, the picture was unified. In Tokyo, the K55 finished up 1.03%. The Bank of Japan's recent rate hike was largely priced in, removing a key uncertainty and allowing equities to rally. Meanwhile, in Greater China, the Hang Seng gained 0.75%, while the Shanghai Composite rose 0.36%. Both participating in the broad risk-on sentiment. In Europe, major indices are trading constructively, taking a positive lead from the strong Asian session and providing a bullish tailwind for U.S. traders. U.S. futures and the open. Turning to the U.S. pre-market, equity futures are pointing to a strong open, extending yesterday's rally. S&P 500 futures are trading up 1.03%, while Nasdaq 100 futures are leading again, up a significant 1.46%. The relative outperformance of the Nasdaq continues the trend from the prior session and suggests investors are rotating back into growth and technology sectors, betting that the economic environment remains favorable for these names. The Daily Catalyst. Looking ahead to the session, the economic calendar is exceptionally light, which is typical for a holiday-shortened week. Investor focus will therefore shift to three key themes. First, monitoring sentiment and momentum to see if the powerful rally from the previous session has legs. Second, positioning ahead of the Christmas holiday, as low trading volumes can often exaggerate price movements. And finally, with a lack of fundamental drivers, technical chart levels may play an outsized role in guiding intraday flows. Given the strong overnight setup and the clear risk-on sentiment carrying over from Asia, the market's path of least resistance appears to be higher. However, the light volume environment warrants caution. That concludes your overnight market brief. Disclaimer: this podcast is not financial advice. Data may be delayed or inaccurate. Always conduct your own due diligence.